Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time you're watching. It's actually evening here for me. I'm in Poland. Let me know where you're watching from, and you can use the hashtag or replay if you're watching a replay, so that I can respond to your comments afterwards. I'm going to put a link here, and I'll explain what it does afterwards. So when anybody joins, let me know if you can hear me. I'd love to find out about that. And welcome to Way to Grow, which is my weekly show on Facebook. Yay. Every Monday at 7 p.m. Central European Time. Hi, if you're watching this, let me know if you can hear me. That would be awesome. I'd love a comment, a heart, a thumbs up, etc. Whatever. Hey, okay. Hey, Navid, awesome. Great to see you here. Right, so this episode is specifically about women. For women, I want to say, well, because I was creating it for women. Obviously, if you're one, and if you want to watch it, then you're absolutely free to watch. I'd love you to share this video, share it with other women who need to see this. Hey, Caroline, good to see you here. Okay, awesome. So you guys are joining. Share the video. Share the video. Right. So today's topic. I don't plan for these. Thank you. I don't plan for the topics in advance. So the way I work, cool. The way I work is I just use life and opportunities and events that happen around me to do a live show on something that actually concerns me at the moment, and I think it's going to bring value to your lives. And as I was thinking about a topic last week, it was Friday or Saturday, I don't actually remember. I had a couple things in mind, but then something specifically spoke to me, and I decided I wanted to speak about powerful women and the way I see women as powerful. Because, so you see, when we think about powerful women, what comes to my mind, at least, I don't know if it's the same for you, let me know in the comments, who you have in mind, who's the powerful woman and what is she like? Because when I say power, that word in itself, it has some specific power to it. Thanks, you guys. So what the type of woman that comes to my mind is, for example, M from James Bond, who's like cold and distant. Thanks, Alex. So she's cold and distant, right? And she creates this space, uninvaded space around her, right? She's got a lot of respect from her people, right? Or then there is Empress Katrina the Great from Russia, who had an enormous, ginormous power, but she was not necessarily loved by her people, right? So these are the type of women that come to my mind, like chin up, and a lot of space that cannot be invaded around them. So they are not really approachable. But funnily enough, this is how the universe works. So I never wanted to speak about women like that, basically. I don't think that's the way to go. I don't think we have to do it anymore. Maybe we used to have to do it. Maybe we used to have to be like that and be, well, manly and very competitive and driven. Well, we still need to be driven, okay, to be powerful, but not driven by competition, not driven by this comparison to men, by testosterone, etc. That's underusing. That's underusing our power as women. That's how I see. That's how I see it. So the universe obviously works in a very specific manner. So Saturday, I was thinking about this show already, and I came across a new TV series. Like, I never come across a new TV series because it was just the first episode just aired. Like, the second episode is airing tonight, and I'm definitely going to watch it. So I have no idea how it all happened. but the TV series is Gentleman Jack. It's on BBC and it's on HBO in the US. And I just fell in love with the main character, who by accident is a very powerful woman. And she is powerful in the way that I can totally relate to and admire. So let me tell you a little bit about the series, because it requires, I mean, it should get its credits. So like I told you, the first episode was run around a week ago, and it takes place in the 19th century. And the main character is Anne Lister. I don't want to say this wrong. Anne Lister. Wait a second. Lister, yes. Anne Lister, who, by the way, not that it's important, you know, she is a lesbian. But she's a very powerful woman, and she is now considered one of the first liberated lesbians. We're talking about 19th century, so you can imagine how a woman was treated then. Now, she was a landlord. She was a landlord. Her father and her uncle left her land, and basically she comes back to her town and she deals with business. I encourage you to watch it. Like I say, I completely fell in love with her character. But let me explain to you the way in which she gains respect. She is very respected, but not in the way that scares people. Not in the way Catherine the Great was, right? I think the only people that are scared of her are the people, because she is very fair in everything that she does. So the only people that are afraid of her are the ones who really wanted to get some dirty business done, or who were expecting her to drop the prices, the rent prices we're talking about here, drop the prices for them specifically just because she is a woman, right? So that's the kind of respect she has. The feature, the character feature of her, the characteristics of her that I want to talk about most is empathy. Now, girls, we have, like, men have their own specific characteristics. They are physically strong, right? They are taller than us. They can use that in negotiation, etc. They can use their physical characteristics. They do not get emotional like we do. Like, this is our liability. Our liability is us getting emotional. Yes, that can get in the way sometimes. I agree to that. But we need to start using, and a powerful woman would be using her power, which is the ability to connect to her inside and the ability to connect and show her feelings. When you look at it, well, men are very often raised in an environment which teaches them, for example, their father and grandfather teach them that you're not supposed to show feelings, you're not supposed to show emotions. If you show emotions, if you show feelings, that means you are weak. You are a weak man. But women are not like that. We are not raised that way. And that gives us an enormous amount of power in my idea. Because without us, without it, the world would be just driven by testosterone. Now, Anne Lister in this series, by the way, the series is based on the true story, because she left behind her journals. She journalized everything. She left behind 4 million words of journals, and they were written in a secret code. Then the crew decoded it, and they, well, maybe not the crew, somebody else decoded it. Anyway, they made a series out of this. She manages and she rules, leads with empathy. The way she greets people, you know, everybody is getting a hello. Everybody is getting a kiss. Can you imagine M from James Bond giving anybody a kiss? Like, not a cold kiss, saying, mwah, mwah, but just a kiss and or a hug. No, this is not what we're taught. What we're taught about powerful women. Like, to me, powerful women are Oprah, she's got a lot of empathy to her, right? And she is so powerful. Like, she uses that so gracefully. We have a lot of grace to us, right? We don't have to fight. We don't have to chase man. We have a different world. We have completely different powers in us, and we should use them to rule the world, to change the world, to be a better place, to be a place where people are allowed to show their feelings, where people are allowed to give each other a hug, even in business meetings. I was in training in London not so long ago, and the funny thing was that the host of the training, the trainer, welcomed everybody that came to the training with a hug. Now, he was a man, but still, right? When in a corporate world or in a male-ruled world, where do you imagine going for training? And we were training skills on presenting, right? It was not skills on how to be more emotional, stable, or etc. No, it was on giving presentations, basically, being a world class presenter. I was welcomed with a hug. Can you imagine that kind of an environment in a corporate world, like you being welcomed with a hug? Oh my God, what would happen? Now, as women, we can change that. We can make this change, and we should make this change. So another woman that comes to my mind is Michelle Obama, for example, right? And I want to encourage you, first of all, to write in comments your role models, your female role models. And if you don't have them now, find them. Like hey Andrea, when I coach my customers, the most difficult question that they need to answer, not like a coaching question, is, yeah, some of us are natural huggers and we should use that. The most difficult question I ask them is about the role models. I'm like, okay, write down your role models. You know, it takes them weeks. It takes weeks to find even a single role model. That's why I'm asking you to start doing that today, because let me tell you, it's not a simple task to find a role model, but you need to know what you're looking for. And these empowered women who are able to show their empathy and show their feelings and control their emotions at the same time, which emotions, like I said, they are a liability to us. I mean, you don't want to start crying in the middle of a meeting, because that's not really serving anybody, right? But being empathetic, being an empathetic leader. I love you. I love you to find an empathetic leader and then follow them and learn from them. So what else is true of powerful women? They are not afraid to ask questions when they don't know. Like, us women, we often think when we don't know something, it's the end of the world, basically. And oh my God, I feel so bad. I sit here among in this group of people, and I don't know the answer to this question. I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, you can ask what they're talking about and find out, and that will give you power. And you know what else? That just gives you so much respect from others, because others don't have the courage to ask the question. They don't. It takes courage to ask question, to show your vulnerability. And women just have a much more easier way of doing that, of showing their vulnerability. And there is so much power in vulnerability. If you want to check out Brené Brown's TED Talk on the power of vulnerability, I encourage you to do that. You know, we can show the vulnerability. And in the world of artificial intelligence and robotics and everything else, showing this human side of us, really, and in the world of people who just sit in their cell phones, really, and they don't know how to talk to another person. The power of empathy, the power of showing interest in another person and of showing the vulnerability is absolutely incredible. It has gained me so much respect from some of the viewers here, and you know, other people that I know more in person. When I show when I speak about the things that I am vulnerable at, like my fears, like my depression, right? So it is counterintuitive, but it's going to get you a lot of respect. Now, respect. Powerful women in general, we have the right to demand respect. First of all, if you want other people to respect you, you need to respect yourself. And you can demand that respect from yourself. Most of us have no respect for ourselves. Like, we're gonna be doing a lot of things for other people, right? And we do not demand respect. Now, I want to focus here on this word demand, which is also like the word power, powerful. It also has some negative connotations, right? It's demanding. It sounds too strong for a woman. Yeah, it sounds like something a man would do, like a ruler of the world. And why would I demand anything? Well, let me tell you this. You can demand respect in a very, very kind way, and that will get you even more respect. You don't get respect by being violent. You don't get respect by criticizing. You don't get respect by being arrogant. No one ever gets respect from that, at least, not from people that are worth anything. If you want to gain somebody's respect, and a powerful woman has a lot of respect, you want to show the world the values that drive you. If it's love that drives you, for a lot of us, it is love. Love is like the most important thing in the world. If it's love that drives you, you should show it. You're going to be vulnerable. Yes, you're taking your armor off. Yes, but that will get you an enormous amount of respect, especially from people who are unable to do so, who secretly want to do so, but they're not doing that. Like, a lot of the people who are watching right now and will watch it in the future, you're leaders of your teams, right? And that's how leaders, powerful women, should act. Demand respect in a kind way. Now, what does it take? Well, it takes, hey, Marian, it takes a sense of humor, for example, right? You can always make a remark that is kind, and it's not sarcastic. It doesn't have to be, I wouldn't use a sarcasm. I would use a remark that is kind, short, and shows that you have a sense of humor. And if you're delicate when using that, that'll get you an enormous amount of respect. We don't get respect by being violent, by using testosterone. No. In today's world, I think we get respect, and that's how I get a great deal of respect. You get respect when you show your heart to other people, when you're helpful, when you're there for them, when you ask questions, when you admit your vulnerabilities, admit that you may be wrong about something. Imagine that. Admit that you can be wrong about something. Admit that you're not perfect. Admit that you have a bad day, right? We all have bad days. The one that doesn't admit that is just a liar. Who's going to get respect from that? No one. Maybe from people who are not really worthy of the respect. Yes, then you can get some respect. I wanted to share, how long have we been live on? I think it's 20 minutes. I wanted to share a story with you that of a day in my life that both empowered me and disempowered me. And I may get emotional as I talk about it, because it's just been such a difficult day in my life. And I'm not ashamed by it. I have the courage to do it. Showing your courage, that gets you respect. Powerful women are brave. That's why I'm the courage trainer. So a couple years ago, I was still working on my corporate job, and I was 32 then. I was exactly 32. Well, yeah. And I was building my career. Everything kept going like smoothly, and yet this opportunity. I had a fantastic mentor at work, who's been my biggest and my best mentor ever, and I am going to always remember him. I've mentioned him a couple times here probably already. Yeah, so anyway, this opportunity shows up on the intranet at the company for this position in the global, the corporate office in Switzerland. Well, not the office, I mean, it's a remote position, something that would give the person that gets it a lot of exposure to the global community of the company. And you would be working with the head of HR in our headquarters in Switzerland. I mean, how incredible, how awesome is that, right? And it was not a position, it was not a promotion, it was just, thanks Martin, you're great. It was just a piece of additional work which would need to be done, but it would get you a lot of additional, exposure, etc. So my mentor, my boss, says to me, "Hey, Alex, you should go for it." And I'm like, "Wow, yeah. I mean, this is global. This is big. Who's going to take me? I mean, I could probably do it. It's not a difficult job, and I would be also giving back a little bit because it was about a global internship for students. But then you had to fill out all this form with all these fields when you would be talking about your successes and your good features and how you fit into the role. And us women, we specifically have a problem with that, right? When we are told to state something good about ourselves. Oh my God. Well, I did that. And long story short, I got the part. And it was the head of global HR over there, Scott. He was a fantastic guy. Like, he was and still is in the corporate world, but he had this, like, he was powerful. He had all power, like head of HR, they have power, right? And he had the kindest heart and the best energy around him. And we just hit it out when we were talking. And he still has this boyish energy around him. And at the same time, he's a very, very serious guy. It's a very interesting mix, right? And by the way, you can be a powerful woman and have that too. It's absolutely brilliant if you have that. So anyway, so I got the part, and that day, for the first time in my life, I felt like I achieved something with my own strength. Like, I worked hard on this, and I got something out of it, and I knew it was just me. It was just my work. I was able to show my work to the world, and they picked me. Wow, that was so big. And don't get me wrong, I've always been getting fantastic grades. I've always been winning Olympics, not sports though, no, like getting scholarships, everything that you can imagine. That was always mine, basically. But I never felt like it was an achievement. Cool, thank you, Danielle. I never felt like it was like a big achievement, because that just kept coming to me. But somehow that day, I felt like I achieved something. And you know what happened? I was so happy, excited. And I think my boss called me and told me that. So I'm just going back home from work on that day, all excited, all happy, how incredible the opportunity is. And here's what happened. Like, I was walking through the door into my apartment, and I was living alone then, and I didn't have anybody, basically. And I didn't have a boyfriend or anybody like super close to share this. Like, I wouldn't call my friend and say, hey, I got this position, because I would just feel stupid, because really the position wasn't that big. It just meant a lot to me, Anyway, I didn't have anybody. So I'm walking through the door, and here I'm standing super happy. Then I grab the doorknob, I open the door, I walk into the apartment, close the door, and then that second, I unexpectedly started crying. I started crying so hard and so badly because of all the emotions. And what happened next was inexplicable because I kept crying for the next half an hour. I sat on the bed and I kept crying. And it wasn't like just tears dropping from my eyes. No, it was like this. Half an hour of this. I was surprised that my parents, my neighbors, didn't call the police or didn't knock on my door because I was so loud, just crying my eyes out for half an hour. And you know what? I had absolutely no thoughts in my head. Like I kept sitting there and I had no idea what's going on with my body, my organism. And I realized I kept these emotions and these feelings inside of me for 32 years. It was 32 years of emotions and feelings which were just telling me to be tough, to be tougher and tougher, and building this shield around me and building my career, you know, just going up. I'm not the kind of person that just goes to their target and just kills everybody on the way. No, people like me actually, so it's not this case with me, right? But still, I realized I built such a huge armor around myself, and that's when I realized there's no strength in this, really. I mean, what's the point of building an armor when then the next thing that happens, something bad happens to your organism, and you're sitting at home, at an empty home, crying for like half an hour. There's no point, guys, there's no point in building an armor. We don't see what's happening to us, really. And a similar thing happened to me twice since then. But then I started taking care of myself. I got depressed. I started taking care of myself. I will never let it happen to me again. It's better to let feelings out. It's better to show your feelings, to show who you truly are, to show your heart. Hey, Tarjay, good to see you. To show and just to be. And you know, I show up here and I am here and people come to me and say, okay, Alex, I know what you're talking about. I know how you feel. And that is the most satisfying and happy feeling in the world, when you can share your message and you can lift other people up with that. Who are you going to lift up with your armor? You can only lift other people up when you share what you feel. And then they can also say, oh yeah, I'm suffering the same thing. And then that's my way of basically trying and help you guys out. Yeah, I guess that's been a little too long. I was planning for a shorter live. I hope you found it valuable. Okay, one last thing. So I've prepared a special gift for you. It's just for women, obviously. So there's a link, and I'm going to paste the link again here. There's a link to an assessment of how powerful you want to be as a woman. Powerful in my sense of powerful, you know, that is empathetic, that is respected, the one that is respected by others, and that is respected by yourself, that is having a sense of humor, that is handling criticism, etc. Thank you, Marion. So how powerful do you want to be versus how powerful you currently are? There's a Google form link. Just fill out the form and you will get your results in your email if you want to check out how powerful you want to be and how powerful you are right now. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you for your comments. To those who joined later on, let me know who your role model is, who your powerful woman is, and also let me know what you thought about this. Yeah. Yes, watch the replay, Tarja. Okay, awesome, cool. See you. This week's interview. This week's interview is going to be not on Thursday. We have to do it on Saturday because the lady that I'm interviewing is in a different time zone, and we have to manage that. You're gonna love her, by the way. I'm not gonna tell you who it is right now. Yeah, right. Awesome. Great to see you here. Thanks, Mario. Bye, guys.